Welcome to the Palithreads podcast. Over time, we're going to make a better intro, but I just wanted to launch this and get this going. So I've been working on this project for a while. I've been working on a website, and I'm so excited to finally launch it today alongside my podcast. And I want to talk to you about what this is going to look like. And yeah, it's basically just an introduction of myself, of what I'm going to be doing. And I hope that you can come along this journey with me. And I'm really excited. So this is going to be really relaxed. First, it's going to be called Palithreads. The reason I called my social media name initially Palithreads is because it represents me as a Palestinian, but I'm going to make threads as I have done before on political issues, whether it's Palestine or other topics that I'm very passionate about, which I'm going to discuss. But I'm also very into fashion. So sometimes I might just share like certain content of fashion, different fits, get ready. I don't know. I'm going to see how it goes. And maybe some people, they don't like everything that I'm doing, but I'm going to do what I'm very passionate about. And I feel that it's a very diverse range of topics and subjects that not only am I interested in, but I have strong grasp of these different issues, and I'm excited to share them with you. Though, of course, a core part of my identity is like being Palestinian, Muslim. And so we're going to really focus on these issues, and we're going to see my lens in different subjects. So yeah, I've been working on this website for some time now, and I want to talk some more about it. So I'm going to be releasing a podcast every other week. And so the issues will range. Right now, I'm going to be launching another podcast along with my introductory one that's about the Canadian elections because they're coming up. And so as of recording, the elections are in under 2 weeks. And I wrote a blog that you can find on my website that discusses why I think you shouldn't vote for anyone in the elections. You just shouldn't vote. And so if you're interested, you can read about that, and you can listen to my podcast that also touches on what I talk about in the blog, but I talk a bit more. And there's going to be some differences because the blog is obviously more calculated and you can find the sources. But when I speak in my podcast, it's more just me speaking based on research, but also you get more of my opinion and it's more chill and free speaking. Speaking of the podcast, sometimes I'll be having guests, and the guests can range. It can be other journalists, Palestinians, non-Palestinians, my dear sister. Whoever I find in the moment is suited, is good for what I'm going to be discussing. And I'm really excited for that. So here's my website. And it has different sections. I'm going to be launching my Patreon. So if you want to support me in the long run, I'm going to be putting exclusive content on this page. So whether it's blogs that go more in depth than my blogs that are released every other week on my website, they're going to go more in depth, have some more of my opinion and maybe some more sass, more of my flavor. If you maybe stir up like more controversial opinions I might have. But I think it's going to be really interesting. Also, in terms of patrons, I'm going to be focusing on taking research suggestions from patrons. And this is really new, so I'm going to be also trying new things out. So please, if there is any criticism, constructive criticism, feedback that you have for me along the way, I would really appreciate to hear it. And I value all the support. So thank you so much. And then I'm going to offer meetings one-on-one. This will be for different prices that I've listed based on the time that you want to meet, but there's different topics. I have Palestinian culture, history, geopolitics, anti-Palestinian racism in the workplace, which I've now experienced multiple times and unfortunately become an expert on this topic at a very young age. Navigating queerness as a Muslim. So being a queer Muslim, I am very passionate about this subject. And I grew up where it was really challenging to find anyone who I can see as an example to see that you can be queer, Muslim, and even Palestinian, and that you don't have to pick between one or the other. and that you can live and love life with these identities existing together. And in fact, that my faith has become stronger once I'm able to grasp and fully understand that and have more loving relationships with the amazing people in my life and my community. Just a brief background of mine, about me. Basically, I did my undergrad in biomedical sciences and at the time was initially minoring in political science. So I've always been very passionate about politics. In grade 7, I'd run home to catch Power in Politics. I've always actually wanted to be a journalist, but I didn't think anyone would hire me as a Palestinian with strong views about Palestine. But you know what? Sometimes we end up finding our ways somehow. So I did biomedical sciences and thought I wanted medical school. I did really well in my undergrad and I loved the sciences, but I felt biomed wasn't for me. So after that, I did an internship with the United Nations, specifically with the World Food Program, and it was in Dakar, Senegal, remotely because of COVID. It was a very eye-opening experience. I learned a lot. Also learned about why, at least at the time and currently, the United Nations is not a place I want to work in, or nor is it institutions that are like the UN. And then after that, I worked at a quote-unquote leading Palestinian rights group called Canadians for Justice and Peace in the Middle East in Montreal. So I'm fluent also in English, French, Arabic, and I took Italian and German in my undergrad, and then I continued with Italian because I just love it. And then I took some Spanish. I just think knowing all these languages really gives you a better understanding of different people's perspectives, allows you to be more empathetic and communicative to people of different backgrounds, which is very beneficial when you're discussing things that are not necessarily apparently so easy to understand, such as whether it's about Palestine or other issues. So I'm excited to use those skills here. But continuing on our discussion, I did my master's at McMaster University in Globalization, which is really more like global politics. We touched on issues such as the racism of borders, Canadian politics, which I'm honestly very passionate about and knowledgeable in. And I did my research, so my master's research paper on exposing how the Canadian state has used its fabricated image as a global peacekeeper to camouflage its imperialism, its oppression of indigenous populations, whether here on Turtle Island or around the world. And so that is a subject that really interests me and that I want to discuss further as we continue deeper into this project. And then after that, I moved back to Montreal for a job. And then this past year, honestly, has been really challenging. And I did not plan initially to launch this website or project, but one thing after the other happened. And here we are now. I'm chatting with you and you're listening. So thank you, by the way. And that's basically how it's been. And I think that we need more Palestinian voices out there. For too long, Palestinians have been told to not even say that they're Palestinian, to be closeted Palestinians. And this is an issue I've discussed and will continue to discuss. Whereas Zionists come out as quote unquote unapologetic Zionists. They are proud of their racism, their white supremacy. And we need to put an end to that. There is nothing to be proud of as a Zionist. It is a bad word. It is a terrible ideology. Zionism is terrorism. And I am doing my best by providing representation and being out here on social media. And also I get so much inspiration from my dear sister, Rada Sasa, who really encouraged me to go and start my public social media pages in the first place. And I just think we need our voices out there. And we do have, and I have very unique perspectives and important perspectives that I think can inspire change and inspire people, and they will. And I'm very excited to be launching this. And just to go back to the website, just to really properly look at it. So I have my different sections. So there's the About Me page if you want to see basically what I shared with you already, but it's more in depth. And then where it talks about the languages, my experiences in the past. I'm offering anti-Palestinian racism consultation to organizations that are interested in whether it's having me do workshops, policy development, and then there's different pricing estimates you can get. You just contact me. And then I'm going to be offering workshops. And this is something that I'm really excited about. So I already have a few that I've put up, and I'm going to advertise them closer to the dates. But the workshops are going to range. It's not just about Palestine, but it's going to be on different issues that I think are very important and I want to talk about and host workshops on. And they're going to mostly be through Zoom. And I'll offer links to people who register. But the first one's going to be making Palestinian ma'mool for Eid together. So Eid al-Adha will be coming up early June. So the end of May, I have May 31st listed as a day of making Palestinian ma'mool. We're going to briefly talk about the importance of ma'mool, of keeping our tradition alive. Now, ma'mool in Ka'ak isn't just Palestinian, it's more in the region, but talk about it for the importance from my perspective, growing up as a Palestinian, making this with my late mom since I was a kid, and why I continue to make it. And I'm going to provide the ingredients. They're already there. And before that, I'll share on my story just certain things to prepare for. And then when we meet on the day of, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how we make ma'mool, and we're going to chat together. And then I'm going to have a Palestine 101 session, introducing people to Palestine, its history, the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, and other concepts. This is a good foundational workshop to be able to grasp the future ones. And this is something I have experience with that I've done in my Palestinian organizing in the past on university campuses and outside of them as well. I've been invited as a speaker by different groups, including Jewish groups such as Independent Jewish Voices and Jews Say No to Genocide. I'm going to show you how to make Palestinian ma'lube, and then we're going to have a workshop that talks about how to read news about Palestine in the media. And there's going to be different workshops coming up, and I'm also brainstorming, and I'm happy to take different requests. And then this is the page with the blogs that I'm sharing. So this is the first one I have, why you shouldn't vote in the Canadian elections. And every other week, I'm going to have one that's open for the public. But on my Patreon, I'm going to be more active and have more juicy content, whether it's podcasts or blogs. And the podcasts are going to be every other week as well. And I wanted the video podcast so you feel like we're sitting together. I have my drink here, which I have not sipped yet. I make the damn best smoothies ever, and I'm going to show you in the future how I make them. I'm very passionate about health. That's another thing. And I think as activists, as people who are fighting for justice, we need to take care of ourselves, fill ourselves first, our cup, so that we can help others. And this is such a good And yeah, so that's it. And then I have my contact form. And then also another way, if you want to support my work, I have a PayPal, and it would be really cool for you to support my work. If you do like it, thank you. And then also the workshops, they're going to be open, like you don't have to pay, but also I'm going to list suggested prices depending on the workshops and the effort and time and research that I put into them. And it would be cool if you support that way. But also, if you're not able to, that's also okay. And I want you to benefit from what I'm offering. Yeah, that's everything. That's really what I could think at the top of my head. But yeah, I'm excited for you to come along with me on this journey. I'm excited to grow. It's been months and months. Like, I started working on this website back in November of last year. And my family, friends, I've been talking to them about it constantly, and they're probably like, bored. You're never going to launch it, Khalid. Come on. But finally, thank you to your support, my people, for continuing to encourage me along this journey. And I'm going to continue working on my studio with the lighting and lenses. But this also comes as I get better over time with funding for myself, more time because I do work full time and have other commitments. But eventually I want to devote more and more time to this so I can have podcasts and blogs more often, more workshops that have a broader reach so that more people can benefit from them. And also I want to put more time into researching the topics because all of this does take a lot of time, energy, commitment. So yeah, I hope to be able to do this consistently for a very long time and for it to grow and for us to grow together. And thank you so much for listening. Free Palestine. So much love to you, Khalid.